Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. This is Chris with potstocks.com and it's February 21st. This week's webcast is brought to you by our sponsor, Elevated Products, LLC, and their latest innovative product, the Groove Tube. The Groove Tube is a unique and highly effective answer to unwanted odor associated with cannabis smoking. Complete with replaceable cartridges and 12 different scents, the Groove Tube offers a fully customizable experience. You can even get your own customized wrap with your business logo or artwork. If you're a retailer looking for a great product, contact the team at groove-tube.com. So we have some exciting news this week. We were recently approached with the opportunity to partner with a larger cannabis media network, and over the last few weeks we've been negotiating and figuring out the logistics of it. At this point we've reached an agreement, and starting about the first of the month you'll see a redesigned potstocks.com rebranded as Cannabis Trader, and you'll start to see a ton of great new features as well as just way more content that we could have previously produced on our own. So that's why we've been so busy. It's a great opportunity for us, and it'll translate to just more and better content for you. So thanks for helping to make that possible. Stay tuned for that rollout and definitely subscribe to our newsletter to get all the latest feature updates. Overall, the sector was mixed this week, doing poorly in the early week and then bouncing back towards the end. We're really starting to see some stocks break away from the cannabis sector seasonal trends. I think this is largely due to the widening divides between companies that are actually starting to bring in revenues and some that just don't have that much substance and have been kind of riding the wave of cannabis stock popularity. Morgan Paxia of Poseidon Capital gives a good overview of this kind of emerging trend. It's in the MJINEWS article linked below. Some winners this week include NTRI had a 100% gain from Tuesday to Wednesday. MDBX closed at $2.21, up from $1.44 on last Friday's close. LVVV charged into the 008s this week on increasing volume. CANV closed up at $2.88. HEMP closed up on Friday about 11%. MCIG up 14% on Friday. GRNH climbed from 9 cents to almost 12 cents on increasing volume. Some losers this week include GBLX, closed down at 21 cents from 31 cents last Friday. FitX continues to sink. UPOT's still getting crushed, down from 50 cents earlier in the month, closed just at 30 cents on Friday. In stock news this week, a lot of companies released financials for the period ending on December 31st. A lot of these companies are still early stage, but some are really starting to bring in revenues, and that's a positive sign for the sector as a whole. Tweed installs aeroponics pilot project with Indoor Harvest Corp in Ontario, Canada. For those unfamiliar, aeroponics is basically a growing method related to hydroponics that utilizes an air or mist environment and is really great for vertical indoor growing and effectively utilizes a lot of the space. It definitely has large-scale applications, especially for cannabis production. Go check out Tweed's website, www.tweed.com. They have a whole series about aeroponics if you want to learn more. On February 13th, Massroots was reinstated in the Apple App Store. That's good news for people looking to invest in the startup as it moves towards its IPO, and generally great news for the sector. Some of these companies are built around using the Apple Store and the Google Store as delivery methods for their products, so getting these guys on board is really critical. NTRI announced a CBD product launch event March 26th in New York at Booley Botanical. The product was developed jointly with Terratech. The event is invitation only, but video of the event will be made available after at energetics.com. On Wednesday, Terratech CEO Derek Peterson gave an interview at SmallCapVoice.com. That's a 15-minute interview that covers a wide range of their operations. They're anticipating dispensaries for Nevada in late summer and cultivation in late Q4. He also offered an overview of New York and Florida markets and the growth of edible gardens, as well as their IVXX product, and a financial overview. My takeaway, basically that their business operations are going really well, but Derek also discussed the open S1 equity line with Magna and confirmed that 57 million shares will be registered in the near future. I'm sure it makes sense for their company in the near term, but it's definitely at the cost of some dilution for current shareholders. So this isn't necessarily bad news for shareholders that are looking to hold for years and years, but it definitely has to quash some interest from retail investors looking for some returns over the next several months. And that's just part of trading investing. Even if a company is doing well, you have to pay attention to what it's doing with shares because it might not be in your immediate interest. In legalization news, House representatives from Colorado and Oregon have introduced 2 bills that could end federal prohibition. The Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol Act removes marijuana from the Schedule Set of Controlled Substances Act and transitions it into the section of U.S. Code that governs intoxicating liquor. The Marijuana Tax Revenue Act of 2015 creates a federal excise tax on non-medical marijuana sales. There's a great deal of debate about whether these bills will make it past the committee into the floor of the Republican-controlled House, While a broad streak of libertarian Republicans do support legalization, older Republicans are still uncomfortable with the idea, having spent the last 20 or so years kind of deeply entrenched in the drug war. We've linked the text of the bills below the video. In Washington State, Senate Bill 5052 passed the state Senate. Under the bill, the state will create a database of patients that will be allowed to possess 3 times as much cannabis as is currently allowed under recreational law, and it also facilitates personal grow of up to 6 plants at home and exempts patients from sales tax on medical products. The measure also restricts collective gardens starting in 2016 and increases the cap on retailers, currently 334 statewide. The Marijuana Policy Project is calling for a boycott of the Holiday Inn for local hotel operators' participation in a lawsuit filed against Colorado. The lawsuit alleges that those participating in the new marijuana market are in violation of federal racketeering laws. It's hard to imagine that the Holiday Inn isn't wildly profiting from the marijuana tourism of the last year, so participation in this lawsuit seems pretty hypocritical. I don't imagine it will have much legal footing, but high-profile cases like this can help get judgments that move the legalization ball forward. We'll continue watching for developments there. Oregon cannabis farmers have expressed concern over industrial hemp. Cross-pollination between low-THC hemp and high-THC cannabis can ruin marijuana grows. Some farmers are worried that hemp pollen will contaminate their high-THC plants and are pushing to restrict hemp growth to the eastern portion of the state. In the meantime, many hemp farmers are already approved to grow and are moving forward with their plans. Moving on to charts, on February 7th we anticipate a good movement from ATTBF, MCIG, and the possibility of a TRTC bounce. Terratech broke through its 52-week low and then did have a decent bounce, then continued on its downtrend after a few days. ATTBF has done alright with some good buying opportunities last week, closing strong on Friday, but overall has traded relatively flat. MSIG similarly had some gains on its Friday close. So for next week, I think LGBI may be setting up for a ladder bottom reversal pattern. It's not perfect, but that does look promising. Other than that, I think next week looks a bit dangerous across the sector. Remember that cash is also a position. Alright, I want to close this week by encouraging you to check out Potstock Radio's interview with Hemp CEO Bruce Perlowin on Sunday. The CEO will discuss plans for the future of Hemp Incorporated, as well as his TV documentary and some of his more wild times. Special thanks to our sponsors, Elevated Products. Go check out the Groove Tube today. That's all for this week. See you next week, and stay in the green.